paradise. You felt the rhythm. Now let's make sure you say it right.
Hey, my name is Farrier, and I'm from the beautiful Aida Perla cruise ship. So today, like we Germans say, we are in Grenada. But I heard in English it's called Grenada.
Say it right. Grenada.
Say it right.
Grenada.
That's right. Grenada. There we go. Say it right. It's Grenada. It's not Grenada. It's Grenada. Say it right.
Special good morning to our listeners. Good morning to your viewers. Welcome to today's edition of To The Point. It's Monday, the 8th of June, 2026. Listeners via our social media platforms, let me say good morning to you also. Referencing the social media platform like the Facebook page, YouTube channels. Good morning and welcome. I'm your host, GT. Welcome. Let me say good morning to the president of Grenada Media. Of course, let me get it right. I always seem to go off of it. It's MWAG. So we say in Grenada Media Workers, there's the Media Workers Association of Grenada. I always say this in some kind of different way. But I get it right. I get it right this time. Let me say good morning. I think we could go by our first name basis. Calistra, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning,
And I'm GT. I could just go with GT. I good at that.
GT.
Yes, I'm good at GT. How are you this morning?
I am well. Don't feel too bad about the name. I find myself sometimes, after all these years, sometimes putting the Grenada first. Force of habit, but it's the Media Workers Association of Grenada.
So you like to say Grenada Media Workers
the Media Workers Association of Grenada is our official and registered name. Mm-hmm. But because a lot of organizations start their name with the Grenada this, the Grenada that, I think it's out of habit. Sometimes we would say
you tend to put Grenada as
we would put it first. So yeah, no worries. We're good with that. Yes.
All right. Well, nice to have you on the program. I think it's my first time having you or even conversing with you on this level. So welcome onto the point.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here and to talk about MWAG and what we have been doing and what we are going to be doing.
All right. So one of our focus conversation this morning, we're going to get it rolling off. It's the Media Week 2026. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about it. What is the defining message of Media Week 2026 and how does it advance the local media fraternity per se?
Well, let's start with the history of Media Week, and we have been doing it we've been having it for almost as long as the association has been in existence, which is around 1995, 96, thereabouts, that the organization was launched. And Ray Roberts was our first president, I believe, if I remember correctly. And so it is designed to build professional standards, to advocate for press freedom, which of course is our most important mandate as an organization, to defend and to advance press freedom in Grenada and of course in the region. And so our message this year, our theme this year is press freedom and responsibility in a time of consequence. In fact, it is our theme for the year of 2026. It's the same theme that we used for our media awards in March 7. And we want to focus on professional development, capacity building, of course, press freedom advocacy, and just the fraternity of getting my members closer together. Because at the end of the day, because of the unique nature of what we do and operating in such a small society, at times all we have are each other as members of the media, be it the announcers, the journalists, the producers, all of us who carry the information that the public has a right to know to them in whatever form.
All right, great. Tell me, let's talk about some of the key events that are coming up. What are some of the flagship workshops you plan on having, the panel discussions, if they're going to be any of that, the community activities that are scheduled also for this week. Talk to me about that, particularly. Talk to me about that.
Okay, I'm going to need my glasses here.
Sure. I always always keep mine on.
We traditionally we open with a church service. This year we will open at the Bolio RC School. Last year we were very ambitious and decided to have the opening for the first time ever on Karakou.
Right.
And that went very well. So we planted trees in Karakou and had some community activity with the residents up there, and a church service at the Anglican Church in Harvey Vale, I think it was. And so this year we're opening at the Lady Help of Christians Catholic Church, which most people may know as the Bolio RC Church, next to Spice Basket. And of course, all of those who love us and would like to come and pray with us on the morning of June 14, Sunday, June 14, can do so, because Media Week runs from the 14th of June to the 21st. And that's the Sunday, we're also going to have a brunch, which is part of the traditional opening. We would normally be hosted by members of the church every year, but this year we are being hosted by Six Senses. So we will go to Six Senses and have a bit of brunch and a little bit of speech making.
I like to say good food, right?
Yes. There's something I like to, as I'm the president of the organization now, and I will share this with the country, I like to organize things where they don't have to work. There's nothing for them to cover. And they can go and they can sit and eat and relax and enjoy themselves. Because you find that we go and we cover these things, and sometimes you're in an event for 4 hours and they're going on and on and on, and they expect you to be there to cover it. And then I always am concerned about sustenance for the members. And I notice that sometimes people act as if this is why we are there, for their refreshments, which is,
I certainly understand where you're coming from that point.
And so, because I've been in the media so long and I've seen it so often happen, the way they behave, I like to make sure that when we get together, we can do our things in a nice way, and we can relax and enjoy ourselves and have our own food, because we can,
and it sounds like you get to be yourself.
Because I see sometimes, I think sometimes that there are people who don't treat my people very well and don't treat them the way they have to treat them, given who they are. And so I just wanted to say that.
Okay, great. Great.
And then so on. Hope I don't get too much licks for it and people don't misunderstand what I was trying to say. GT. On Monday, June 15, we launch our advanced journalism training. Now, Johnson John Rose, who is a senior journalist, he's a consultant now as a senior journalist. He is coming to Grenada from New York to do 5 days of advanced journalism training with us. That's going to cover interviewing, identifying news, writing, and the full spectrum that you may want to be able to pack into 5 days. It's only 5 days, but from 9 to 1. And what we have done this year is that I have opened up the training to members of the public. So I've reserved 10 spaces for anyone in the public, hopefully somebody who is anyone actually, but I said youths, because we always need to bring whatever profession you're in. You always have to look for the next generation. You always have to look for the successors. You always have to look for the next Christelina John or the next Bernadette Cornell, who is our first female camera operator, and really a hero to us. B, who is here at GBN, is a hero to us in the Grenada environment. That next person, and you guys have two very promising people here. Shania McIntosh won the President's Youth Award in the last Media Awards. So GBN is looking to the future and has promised there. So 10 spaces for members of the public. We've had some response. People have expressed interest and have sent in their applications to be part of it. There's a few more spaces, and people can follow the instructions on the flyer that we have out, and be part of the training. And the training is going to be from Monday to Friday, from the 15th of June to the 19th. So we would look at professional development. We also, on Monday, June 15th, in the afternoon after training, we will have an engagement with the National Training Agency.
Okay.
And that is the discussion is going to focus on professional development pathways for media practitioners, recognition of prior learning, because with prior learning and experience you can get certain certifications. It's a normal practice. And opportunities for certification and accreditation for media workers, as well as building national standards and competencies within the media sector, and also potential for partnership between MWAG and the National Training Agency. So Ms. K. Julian will come to make a presentation to my members on how they can become certified,
yes.
even those because a lot of people join the media without formal training and without certification or qualification in journalism or in broadcasting. And so this is one of the areas we're going to be exploring on Monday, June 15 in the afternoon.
Great.
So, yeah. What else do we have happening?
It seems to be a jam-packed week.
It's not so jam-packed, but, we're going back to Karakou at the end of the week. On the Saturday, we will return to Karakou because we have one more tree to plant on Petit Martinique. Last year, we did not get the opportunity to plant the tree on Petit Martinique. It was our intention to plant in the Botanical Gardens where we did on Karakou and then journey to Petit Martinique. To do that, we didn't. So this year, we're opening on the mainland because we do not open in the same place twice. If there are other places where we can. And then on the weekend, we usually end Media Week with a fun day on the Saturday. So we will go to Karakou for 2 days instead, plant the trees, do some community engagements, and maybe a tour of the Grenadine Islands. I think Roald Patterson, our treasurer, is planning quite a time for us up there.
Great.
Yes,
Great.
yes.
So happy to hear that. Right. So that's more or less how the week of activity will roll out.
Well, the big one is, and I just want to stop here and say that just to acknowledge the corporate Grenada for the support that they have given to MWAG in the last year that I've been the president. The support that we have received from corporate Grenada is unprecedented. All right. In the history of MWAG, and I'm very appreciative of the support that they have given, even with the training that we are doing now. I don't know if I can call sponsors' name. Republic Bank. Well, this is media, and some of your people are going to be in the training, so Janelle will forgive us, and I'm sure they are a sponsor of yours as well. Anyhow, Republic Bank is sponsoring the training for us. They are one of our partners in this, as well as the Embassy of the People's Republic of China. And the National Stadium is also giving us a bit of support, as well as Island Catering. And I'm really happy that every time we ask for support, we are able to get a good response from corporate Grenada without having to give anything in return, because sometimes people are concerned about the relationship between media and corporate, or media and politicians. Well, the one between media and politicians, that one has to be how it has to be and must be how it is, right? Separate. But with corporate, people wonder, about sponsorship and so, and what, whether there's a quid pro quo. And I'm happy to say that that has never been an issue or a concern, and they support because they understand that the media is an important pillar of democracy and an important pillar of development, social, economic development in the country, and so they support. So we're happy with that.
All right, great.
But the big one, which I was going to tell you before you get on to the 500 questions you have for me there, GT, on Thursday at 6 p.m., most likely at the Trade Center, there's going to be a round table on the economic impact of the Iran-U.S. conflict.
All right.
We are partnering with Campeche International, Dr. Stephen Fletcher's consultancy firm, as well as the Grenada Chamber of Industry and Commerce. They heard about it and were excited about it and came on board. CDB, the Caribbean Development Bank, is also down to make a presentation at that roundtable where we will discuss the economic impact. And it's something that people may want to, the information is going to be out there that people may want to participate in, because it's an important discussion. We think, okay, it's happening way out there, but the bottom line is that the impact of it, we will feel it. And because we are a developing country, and because our resources are limited, it would be even harder for us, rising prices and all those things as a as a result of the war. So those are some of the things, and of course our community service, which is an important part of Media Week. I think this year we're making a presentation to the home in St. Mark, the home for the elderly in St. Mark. We'll make a presentation there, or we may go to the Bachelet home for children.
And, I guess a decision will be made which one you...
Yeah. Well, I'd like to do both because we are going to St. David at Six Senses as well. I would like to do both. I feel the elderly and the youth, those are the two groups that we really need to pay a lot of attention to. Those are the two groups that need the support of society beyond what we may even imagine. You know, the old and the young, yes.
Great. Well, we drew for a break. Let's take it. Then we come back. We continue the conversation. Stay with us, folks. To the point. Classic Radio GBN TV. We coming right back. We'll touch it out.
Grenadians at home and abroad, the National Democratic Congress proudly invites you to the mega rally on Sunday, 21st of June. Under the theme, 4 years stronger, you, me, us. You, because we care. Me, because I have a responsibility. And us, because we all have a part to play in building Grenada. Bring your flags, bring your family, bring your yellow, and be a part of the 4-year celebration, transforming Grenada's future. Sunday, 21st of June at 5 p.m., Monrouge Plain Field comes alive. NDC Mega Rally. You, me, us.
When the man say that he blacking out, what you think it is? Yellow fever. Yellow fever. Whoa, we give them yellow fever.
Welcome to the island's boldest ATV experience. The only tour daring enough to bring you this level of excitement, freedom, and adrenaline. Feel the power. Conquer rugged trails. Experience breathtaking views. Ride beyond the ordinary. Feel the power. This is not just a tour. This is the power of Ride ATV. Get ready for fun. Get ready for excitement. Get ready to ride. Book now at ride.gd or call 473-422-1011. Ride ATV. Adventure starts here.
The Ministry of Agriculture White Potato Production Initiative is an OECS sub-regional project aimed at reducing Grenada's reliance on imported white potatoes, which in 2025 had an imported value of over 4.5 million EC dollars. The White Potato Production Initiative is part of the Ministry of Agriculture's food security drive and is being undertaken with the simultaneous cultivation of other crops such as sweet potatoes, pineapples, coconuts, carrots, and other vegetables. Other OECS countries like Dominica and St. Vincent and the Grenadines are already at an advanced stage in white potato production, with Dominica completely cutting the import of white potatoes during the first quarter of 2026. Grenada is now preparing to advance production for better output in 2027. The Ministry of Agriculture, Lands and Forestry, ensuring food and nutrition security for all.
At 5 p.m. on August 5th, 1944, the schooner Island Queen sailed out of the St. George's Harbor. On board were some of Grenada's brightest and best sons and daughters. What happened afterwards remains a mystery.
Where Island Queen gone?
Heritage Theatre Company presents Lucy's Straw Hat, a full-length drama written and directed by Chris DeRiggs, a moving story about a family caught up in the drama of this great mystery. Meet Mammy Sylvie, a woman with a secret too heavy to keep but too painful to reveal.
I'm asking for forgiveness for not telling you the truth.
Pa John, the war veteran.
Sometimes I sit here feeling so helpless, so crushed.
Hyacinth, always ready to do mischief.
You don't see the woman Uncle Norris married. She face ugly enough to turn milk.
Lucy, beautiful and headstrong.
I had a dream, Mommy, that Hyacinth was there. holding my hand.
Lucy's Straw Hat at Grenada Trade Center on Saturday 13th and Sunday 14th June, and at the Luke Cinema on Saturday 20th and Sunday 21st June. All shows 7 p.m. Advance tickets $60, $75 at the door. Come join us.
Where Island Queen gone?
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers, once again to The Point. Classic Radio, GBN TV. Calistra, welcome back. Welcome back. Of course, our conversation this morning, and we're sort of going to go keeping our insight on the media in Grenada and so forth, but we're still going to talk about, the Media Week 2026. I want to ask you this in relation, you mentioned it previously in relation to the public engagements. So tell me, how the Grenadian public, per se, can actively participate in Media Week? There are folks, listeners and viewers outside there right now listening and say they probably like this. They probably never had the opportunity to engage in this. Probably feel like I could sit on a radio station and speak. Folks feel they have that particular potential from time to time. Tell me, how can they better understand the role, especially for journalists? We're talking about the public, the success matrix that folks will sometimes look at it as. Also, and what specific outcome or milestone does the executive committee hope to achieve for the end of this week? Hope it's not too large of a question for you.
No, I'm on the other side of the microphone. So, yeah. So, I have here a list of objectives actually for Media Week, such as to promote press freedom and responsible journalism, which of course is what we always have to keep at the top of our minds, and. But one of the things we want to look at as well is, and particularly with the roundtable that we're having, is to encourage informed national dialogue on issues of public importance. So the roundtable is an opportunity for people to be in the same room with us, and of course Campesh and GCIC, to participate in an important conversation. So that is one means of public outreach. Of course, the training is specifically designed to reach out to the public, to bring people into the profession, hopefully in those 10 people who come, or 8 or 7 who come from outside of the media, that we find our next person who can train and develop as a professional, the next Calistra, if you will. Although I think I found her in GBN's newsroom already. But for the year, we have continued to seek to create a space where the public can reach us. We had the Impact Song of the Year as part of our Media Week, and we're going to have it again next year. And it's a start of... We look at media as a form of mass communication, because it is. It is. And so we made that an award this year. And I think Lil Kerry with Berry All, I think the song is, won the Impact Song. That was Elan Robinson and Randall Robinson, the brothers, handled that for us. Because that is, they have competencies in that area. So they were able to deal with that, and they came back to us with the winner. And so that was an attempt to reach out to the public into the soca space. And it could have been any song, but it happened to be a soca song, but to reach out into the creative sector in Grenada. And so for this week in particular, we hope that, the church service, people are invited to attend that. We would love to have people come to church with us, whose home church might not be the Bolio RC Church or Lady Help of Christians. And of course, our trip to Karakou, that people can come with us on the boat and go plant trees with us. We are open, and because we serve the public, it is so important for us to be able to speak to them and for them to see us and understand us, because I think, GT, a lot of people sometimes do not understand what we do and the difference between us. Now, we're in this industry called the media industry, but there are different people. You do something. I do something. Bernadette Connell does something. She's a camera woman. I'm a journalist. You are an announcer, and you're also an engineer. So people, and then you have the content creators on social media. They're a new creature, and the water is getting a little muddied with their presence, because as an announcer, you have rules to follow.
Yes.
There's certain things you can't say on air. You're not supposed to say on air.
I like to refer to them as the click battle that is out there these days now. You know when I say the click battle, we will talk about when we get to that part of it.
Yeah. And so there are opportunities. We have the flyers out. People can see on our social media page or on my page, Calistra NP Farrier, as well as the Media Workers Association of Grenada Facebook page, what's happening. And the other big event we're having this year, GT, that people will have an opportunity to come and, speak with us and socialize with us is our annual media cruise. We had the first one last year, and it was called Unscripted. The cruise we're having this year on July 31 is Unscripted, the Freedom Edition, because it's the night before Emancipation Day. So we're doing an African theme aboard the Ecstasy, and one of the activities in it is that people will have the opportunity to bid, and the winning bid gets a chance to interview me or Chrislina. I think we've spoken to her about it already, I believe. Or one, to have I thought it would be a novel idea to have the cameras turn around. And so that is going to be one of the things that's part of the cruise.
Right. Like you're feeling this morning. All right. So it's going up to be an interesting week. I mean, from the information that you have thrown out thus far, it's going up to be an interesting week in terms of what's going to be like. So what's
going to make it more interesting?
Yes.
If you finally come home. Do I have to do like Dr. Mitchell here and go, GT, come home?
We're going to talk about that. That's going to be what we call an off-air conversation. I want to get your perspective on this. We have spoken a bit in the first segment, and we talk a whole lot about Media Week. I want to talk, how would you describe, the current relationship between the local press, the government, regarding, the access to public information? How would you describe that?
Well, one of the big projects on our plate, the Executive Council and the membership of MWAG, is to continue advocacy and to continue engagement with the government for a Freedom of Information Act.
Yes.
Grenada doesn't have that. And so a lot of information that we should be able to access, we can't. We have to wait for things. When things are tabled in the Parliament, like, the GDB, for instance, all of their reports, annual reports and the audited statements and so goes to the Parliament. As an accredited journalist in the Parliament, because not everybody's accredited, but if you're an accredited journalist, you get access to it there, right? But otherwise, someone says, oh, well, you have to call the PS for that information, and you call the PS, and the PS gives you the runaround, and you hope that there's someone within whatever agency or department that's upset enough about what's happening with the people's business to tell you what's going on, and their source is always very useful. But so we need for a Freedom of Information Act. We started engaging the government about it. We've met with the Attorney General under the previous president. I was first vice president at the time, and a small delegation of the president and myself and one other member met with the Attorney General to discuss putting that on the legislative agenda for this term. This term is almost over. They have 12 months. I'm hearing that it may be soon. So we're hoping that we can get that done within the next year, and we will engage with whoever happens to be in government and continue to engage on that, because it's absolutely important, freedom of information. Now, also with we had a bit of an interesting start with this administration, the Dick Mitchell-led administration, where one of the earliest things he said was that people had grown accustomed to the weekly news conferences. Now, I had my issues with the weekly news conferences too, because I saw it for what it was. It was an open door that made you think you had access, but it was an open door that controlled the information. Because media people went and sat in the room every week and got the information the government wanted them to give. And there were times when they would say, you can only ask, questions are on the topic. No, I got in trouble all the time because I came with questions that had nothing to do with what you wanted to say that week. And journalists must never be constrained by people saying, oh, you can only ask on the topic. They will get mad at you in the room, and you may feel like all alone in the room because you're asking, you're not following the rules. But the rules that we follow are not rules like that. We're not obligated to follow rules like that. Right. And so when the Prime Minister said, when it was questioned, why are we not having this weekly access? And the Prime Minister, I believe, said information, will be given on a need-to-know basis. And I think that signaled how the relationship was going to develop. All right. And it sort of colored things a little bit. And you find that a lot that this government is in the communications, they're very much a social media administration. Okay, so something would be going on, and you would call the press secretary, and you would think that it would be easy to get the information, and you'd be told, well, I'm going to make a post later, or I made a post and it's on my social media page. No, she's a very nice lady, I'm sure. But you can't tell me to go on your social media page to get government information. Go on the Prime Minister's social media page to get government information. That is a problem.
I mean, and it's leading up to one of my another question I wanted to ask, in terms of given that previous friction, and restricted access that we sometimes, that government ceremonies and, post cabinet briefing and so forth. Tell me, what step is that? What is, of course, taking? MWAG taking in terms of, ensuring that open door for independent journalism? What steps are you taking?
Well, we hope that they would understand that the media, in all its forms, is one of the most important pillars of democracy. That the public's right to know is sacrosanct and it needs to be respected. We hope that they would understand that. And that sometimes the more information you give the public, the better off you are as a government. Take the Polaris thing, for instance. People have a lot of questions. Let the Prime Minister answer the questions. He can handle himself. I can assure you. Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell, can handle himself. He does not need the protection of the people out there. If Polaris is a strong project, if Polaris can be justified, if it can be explained, then let him do it. Because the more information people have, the more understanding there is, the better off you are. Exactly. But when you don't want to give people information, you're creating a boogeyman where none exists, right? And then people are like, well, I wonder what they're hiding. Why don't they want to talk about it? Why are they so defensive? And so it's counterproductive even for them. We want to be able to have better access to information. Some of my members complain that they cannot get government ministers to speak with them, to give them interviews. Myself, I wanted to interview the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Finance about the tax regime that the government is introducing on the digital business and so that they're putting in place. And I spoke to him directly, and we had agreed he would do the interview. He had no problems with that. Michael Alexis is a brilliant guy. And then someone got wind of it, and he says to me, I think you have to talk to the press secretary. So apparently there's a system. So I said, okay, fine, I can be obedient at times. So I went through the process. I am still waiting. 2 weeks later, I am still waiting for the interview.
Tell me, what is MWAG's, current stand on political entities or government figures, requesting interview questions in advance?
Did you watch Media Awards about 2 years ago? I spoke about that. People sometimes ask, and it's only fair that you tell people what you want to talk to them about, right?
It's fair.
People want to prepare. It's a particular, sometimes it depends on the nature of the interview. Someone has to go pull the data, and it helps you as well, because you don't want to ask somebody a question and go, okay, I don't have that data here, because then it kills your interview. So you let people know what you want to talk to them about, but the idea of giving you the list of questions that I want to ask you in advance is something that I have encouraged and counseled my members not to feel obligated to do. And I spoke about it when the press secretary, about 2 or 3 years ago, requested of me a list of questions when I was trying to interview the Prime Minister. And I said, no, I would prefer not to do the interview. I can, tell you what I want to talk to him about, but not the particular questions. And at Media Awards, I spoke about it and expressed my position on it, that it's not something that I would do. I mean, there are exceptions sometimes, but generally, particularly with politicians who like to control the situation, you want to not give them that habit.
I understand. I have one more question I want to ask before we take the break, and I think is you prompted on it earlier on. It's something following, recent newsroom. There was an AI workshop.
Yes.
How is NAG, MWAG, I keep saying NAG for some reason, MWAG's
it's a hurricane season.
Helping local journalists, that ethical and narrative between in terms of the automated tools that's available now and the digital information. How do you feel in relation to that?
Well, we have to be very careful about how we use it. AI can be your enemy or it can be your friend. And like anything else, it depends on whose hands it's in. Because if you have a gun in your hand and you don't know where the safety is, it can be a problem, right? If people make AI do the work for them, they're going to end up in trouble. Because AI is not as smart as we think. It spits out crazy stuff at you. And if you don't know what the correct information is, you are misled.
Understand.
Not only you get rusty, you get out of practice. You got to write your stuff.
You've got to so dependent.
Yeah, you got to think about your interview questions. You have a commentary to write. You got to write it yourself. Okay. There are certain assistants. AI is just an assistant. Yeah. That it can provide. And so that is why we had the training with Julian Rogers. And we can talk more about that when we come back from break. But it's one of the things that we have our eye on, and we are taking steps, including a training a few months ago with Julian Rogers, just so people understand the pitfalls and the benefits of AI in the newsroom.
All right. We drew for a break. Let's take it. When we come back, I want us to touch a wee bit on youth training for a wee bit. And we still in span on the AI training, but youth training, in of course, in journalism and media in general. I want us to tap into that and what's MWAG's take on that when we come back. Stay with us. Stay with us, folks. To the Point Classic Radio, GBN TV. We will be right back. Don't touch it out.
Home is easy as 1, 2, 3.
Thinking about your new home? Think easy. Think a Republic Bank Home Easy Loan. Think affordable. Think convenience. Think Republic.
Home is easy as 1, 2, 3. Republic makes home easy.
Wow, that was such a breeze.
Own your home with ease.
So whether laying that first brick or purchasing an existing home, we've got you covered. Republic Bank will get you those keys hassle-free in no time.
Home is easy as 1, 2, 3.
Apply for a Home Easy Loan today for a chance to win a cash prize. Getting your new home is easy with Republic Bank.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Terms and conditions apply.
Grenadians at home and abroad, the National Democratic Congress proudly invites you to the mega rally on Sunday, 21st of June. Under the theme, 4 years stronger, you, me, us. You, because we care. Me, because I have a responsibility. And us, because we all have a part to play in building Grenada. Bring your flags, bring your family, bring your yellow, and be a part of the 4-year celebration, transforming Grenada's future. Sunday, 21st of June at 5 p.m., Monrouge Plain Field comes alive. NDC Mega Rally. You, me, us.
When the man say that he blacking out, what you think it is? Yellow fever. Yellow fever.
Welcome to the island's boldest ATV experience. The only tour daring enough to bring you this level of excitement, freedom, and adrenaline. Feel Feel the power. Conquer rugged trails. Experience breathtaking views. Ride beyond the ordinary. Feel the power. This is not just a tour. This is the power of Ride ATV. Get ready for fun. Get ready for excitement. Get ready to ride. Book now at ride.gd or call 473-422-1011. Ride ATV. Adventure starts here.
Before the digital age, before the world moved at the speed of a click, there was a signal connecting a nation. In 1986, a journey in broadcasting began in Grenada, a journey that would grow into a trusted voice across the country. For 40 years, through radio and television, we've been there for the stories that shaped our nation, the news that mattered, the voices that informed us, the moments that brought us together. Your stories, your voices, your moments. The Grenada Broadcasting Network, 40 years strong. One nation, one network.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back to our viewers once again. It's To The Point, Classic Radio GBN TV. I'm your host, GT, and I do have, of course, the president of the Media Workers of Grenada. We have Media Workers Association of Grenada. Get that right, GT.
You got it right.
Commissioner, welcome back.
Thank you.
You know, before the break, I did mention to you training. Tell me what specialized training, of course, is pipelines for this build, especially for the influx of young media workers into the digital and the traditional aspect of it. Tell me about that. What special programs are there in the pipeline? Or is it a tough thing to get to young people to get them into media the way you want them? Are you seeing the interest also as being the president?
People are always contacting me or meeting me and saying, I want to be a journalist, I want to do the news, I want to be on radio, I want to be on TV. So there is interest, and hence the reason why I opened up the training we're having now with 10 spaces dedicated to members of the public. So this is one means of engaging youth in training. We have also I have two of our younger people who are already in the media going off to China in a few weeks. This was arranged directly with the Chinese embassy, and they are going off to do some media training for 2 weeks as that. The UE Open Campus, Global Campus, we have to engage them. The conversation had already started, and we have to engage them to try to develop a partnership, an agreement, to get media, journalism, and maybe other aspects of media on their curriculum as one of the areas that they offer for training. Now that would be huge if we can accomplish that, and I'm hoping we can accomplish that within the year, that we re-engage them and open a conversation. If we can accomplish that, it will be huge. It means that our young people here can get that level of training right here without having to worry about, other costs like living costs and food and what that associate with living, going to school outside of the country. It's not a degree level. I don't think we were talking degree level, although I wish we could, and I'm going to look at that. And that is going to be important for us, that we would, our people who are already in the media, who do not have not had the benefit of formal training and certification and qualification, can access that, as well as members of the public who are interested in media can look at that as a pathway to getting in to the media. Right. So, yeah.
Tell me, how concerned is MWAG in relation to, sometimes we hear the conversation from in the general public, the lack of talent out there, especially when it comes to broadcasters, even announcers and so forth, on the media out there, especially in radio and so forth. We hear the lack of talent out there. How concerned is MWAG in relation to that?
I don't know if I'll say it's lack of talent. I would say it's lack of guidance. Long ago, and Lord, I sound like I am now saying long ago. Oh my God. Back in the day, we trained each other. Yeah, if you want to put it that way. Everyone who worked at The Voice, he was tough, very, very tough, but he taught you. And let me give you an example. When I left newspaper where I'd started, I came to GBN. First of all, they would not put me near a microphone in GBN for anything in the first couple of weeks that I was there. No one gave me a microphone, and no one ought to have given me a microphone. I wasn't ready for a microphone. The microphone is a secret thing that you have to be ready for to deliver to the public. And then, when I did get to read the news, they gave me 2 p.m. And you know what the explanation was? Hardly anybody listening 2 o'clock. If you mess up, not a lot of people will hear. I did not get to read the 10 p.m. news update until long after. Eventually I ended up anchoring the TV news and reading the 6 p.m. news and so on and so forth. But I earned that. All right. Right? And now you have people who come in and the bosses hand them a microphone and they're not ready for it. And the public sees that. And the public thinks this is who we are. And I believe that media houses need to take greater responsibility, because MWAG really has no jurisdiction over what happens in the media houses.
I just asked it for in terms of a concern. Because something we get the impression there's a deterioration of radio, especially in Grenada.
Well, there's the standards, the whole thing. I don't even think if people remember that there are standards to be followed. Yes, and that's. Leslie Pear, for instance, if I made a mistake reading the news, I came to GBN, but he was still paying attention to what was going on with me. If I mispronounced a word and I'm coming back into the newsroom, building was not this big and fancy back then. We had a little wooden veranda at the front. And I hear the phone ring. I could guess that it's Leslie Pear calling me, and I'm thinking, okay, what did I mess up? He didn't call me if I did well. If he didn't call me, I knew I did well. Okay. He called me to give me guidance. He continued to guide me long after I had left him. And so we need that. We need people to prepare the employees for the responsibilities that they're thrusting upon them, and understand what broadcasting is. And of course, MWAG is going to continue to try to have training and to try to have a lot of the people who are on the radio stations out there are not necessarily people who are engaging with us, and that's also a problem. That if they
and it's one of the reasons I'm asking you the question: how can MWAG help, especially the radio stations and so forth, where you hear, because sometimes I get a perception most of them are DJs, are not really an announcer. And
because you have to understand what broadcasting is. Broadcasting is not being able to spin music really good. It's not a block hole.
That's the impression I get sometimes.
And being a broadcaster,
because they can play music.
No. Being a broadcaster, you might have a music show where playing the music is the content. But if you're going to ever open this microphone and speak, then you have to prepare yourself to open this microphone and speak.
That I understand. Yeah. That I understand. Tell me, I want to ask you this. Time is on us, but I want to ask you this. As the host of the narrative, that's a show you do, and president of MWAG, How are you balancing, being that active political commentator, if I could say that?
I am not. No, hold on.
And the leader of an objective media association.
Hold on. What do the guys say? The guys who spinning music, wheel and come again. I am not a political commentator. I'm a journalist.
All right.
And
so that's corrected.
And a TV host.
All right.
I do a little political commentary sometimes when I'm in the mood, but no, I'm not. But back to your question, how do I balance all that I do and be the president of MWAG? I love what I do. I wanted to be a lawyer first, and I'm probably still gonna go do it if all my ducks line up. I want to be a lawyer, and I got a summer job as a reporter. And here I am today. That's the field I chose to pursue because I liked it, and I feel like I'm making a contribution. Because I wanted to be a lawyer who said, I want to go to court and defend, because I always was upset about how I saw people being oppressed and their rights being violated. And I wanted to do something about that. So at 12 years old, I was following Lloyd Noel around. And by the time I got to National College, which it was then Grenada National College, I was going to court with him. Couldn't sit at bar, but I would sit in the gallery of the courthouse and listen. And so then I found that with my journalism, I could defend more people at one time. Defend causes by shedding light on things that the public has a right to know, so that they can form their judgments and their opinions and take action and be citizens and do what they need to do. And so because I like what I do, I think it's easy. The narrative returns to air. We have been off the air for a little while because there was so much with MWAG to do, and I usually take a break because I said I take a little break with my shows, whichever ones, even when I was doing business files, and then we come back on air renewed, and we're about to come back on air next week, I believe. But it's fun, I think I like doing it, and MWAG is so important to press freedom. A senior diplomat, when he came to Media Awards, and I met him at his own function a few days later, and he said, I hope you enjoyed it, thanks for coming. And he was like, that was an impressive show of press freedom.
All right.
And based on who that diplomat was, I felt like we had done what we set out to do, which is to build and to strengthen the media and to show the country and the region and even the world, if they were watching, that there is a strong media core in Grenada.
Being the current president of MWAG and reflecting on your tenure, so up until 2027, I'm assuming it is going to be up to?
Yes.
2027. Tell me, what structural changes you must determine as solidified before your tenure ends? What is that?
Structural changes.
You want to see
the major
different
one,
about MWAG?
The major one I want to see is a stronger relationship between media managers and MWAG. Because you see, a lot of the problems that we have to fix, MWAG is not the one to fix it. You were talking about, just the talent that's out there and how people present on radio and the public perception of our people. And a lot of it has to do with the media houses. And one of the things that we've planned, the Executive Council discussed it, I brought it to them and we discussed it, was meeting periodically with media managers. So they were always never part of MWAG. They can be. There's membership for them, non-voting membership. That they can have a better understanding. Look, even this training that we have coming up, it's an important week. They're going to learn a lot. It's going to make a difference. But media houses are saying, oh, well, we have to see who can come because they have to work. And what my answer to that is? A farmer can't go in the garden with a dull cutlass. 6 o'clock in the morning when he wake up, he can't say, I'm going with a dull cutlass, I need to be there. He's got to sit down and sharpen that cutlass because that's what he needs. They're still using cutlass in the farms? I don't know. So you have to make the sacrifice to allow your people to become sharpened so that they can do the job better, so that your product improves, so that you can feel comfortable about accepting corporate Grenada's money for the products that you are selling them, which is the news and GT on to the point and whatever else. The product have to be good. And we are giving you an opportunity to make your product better. So I want a better, closer relationship, and I'm looking at how we can develop a permanent structure that would facilitate that beyond my presidency. So that's one of the most important things. Yeah.
Well, you see my phones are going, but I want to ask you this before we grab a couple of calls from our listeners and viewers out there. How can Grenadian media workers, successfully resist the pressure of the, when we, I like to refer to that, that clickbait that is out there. Sometimes, they chase social media, clicks to over that deep factual reporting. How can that change?
Well, we're not supposed to do that in the first place. I mean, there are rules about how we do what we do, and it is in direct opposition to what we would have to do if we want to keep up with that clickbait race. We must be right. We don't have to be first. So when you hear something happen on the road, it's not our role to go and put it on social media. We're not a tongue crier. We need to go and verify and investigate and then let the public know, even if we're operating on a social media platform.
Yes.
This is the right way to handle information. And we have a difficulty where, because smartphones and social media you have this crazy thing called citizen journalist. I don't even know what that is. The citizen journalist is a problem because the citizen journalist does not have to follow rules. They can put stuff out there and they don't come back and apologize. If we slander somebody, they call a lawyer. And the lawyer says, apologize, or somebody asks for money or something, God forbid that you. And we have to be accountable and responsible. Those are things that we live by as broadcasters, as journalists. Content creators do not. And if as broadcasters and journalists in the mainstream who are now branching out into content creating and social media, if we try to keep up with the people who came up out of the content creation industry kind of thing, we're going to run into problems. We cannot compete with those people. We ought not to be, and we shouldn't be competing with those people who are out there just putting stuff because they want to get 2,000 likes in an hour. We're not about likes. We're about the public's right to know. And we have to give the public proper, accurate information. Otherwise, we are failing in our mandate.
But is that changing the media landscape in Grenada a whole lot from your perspective? Where folks decides to go there to gain the information other than go directly to the radio to listen to the television, or who will give them the more of that accurate reporting?
I think that we have to evolve as well because the landscape is evolving. So we have to evolve or else we will die. So we have to find ways of doing it. But the core principles that make us who we are, we don't have to give them up to be able to evolve our models to fit where the viewers are going and where the listeners are going. We have to go there, but we still have to go there with who we are.
Oh, great. We will take a couple calls, get some feedback from our listeners and viewers. We do have our first caller. Caller live. Good morning.
Yeah, well, thank you. Good morning, Mr. Telesford. Greetings. Can you hear me well, sir?
Very well, sir. Go right ahead,
Can
please.
your guests hear me?
Yes.
Interesting.
Is that Mr. Roller?
I'm happy for the opportunity to direct a couple of words to the chief executive of the quote-unquote fourth estate of Grenada, the unofficial state entity which is responsible for shedding light on the major affairs of the people of this country so that they can have knowledge to be able to make decisions for themselves into the future. You said it's your word. You said it a while ago. Ms. Farrier, I personally believe that all the major matters of national concern should be brought through the media. But for whatever reason, it is evident that your organization, and it didn't start with you as being president, no, it started before, they refused to touch certain things. I just want to lay 5 little ones on you and then ask you a question. 1, the Constitution institutional architecture of this here country is proven to be ineffective and even illegitimate according to a document in 2002, which you know about, also written by Nicholas Liverpool et al. Nothing is said about that. That is hidden. Why don't we talk about it? I want to make reference to two laws. SH makes the song sh. Passed last July in our country, violating the Constitution, particularly Article 111, or section, as they say, 111, that is Schedule 3, which had been separated from the law and used as the basis for creating two laws to modify, or should I say, alter the oath of allegiance. It is written there, not because I am blind, I'm seeing it. If I am blind, I'm seeing it. The media says nothing about that. I want to refer to a document called the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability, published in 2007, and put for immediate application in 2008. Up to now in this here country, they have ratified it, and nobody modifies the laws of the country to guarantee that population of people with disabilities in this country enjoy the rights as established by international norm. I want to refer, before I go any further, to the leader, the Prime Minister of this here country going to a foreign nation, receiving gifts contrary to the Code of Conduct for Public Officials stipulated in the United Nations Convention Against Corruption. The media is seeing that. I want to refer finally to an issue of Renault in recent times, defying the PDA. The Minister for Infrastructure gave them authority to do what they want to do, pending instructions or evading the instructions given by the PDA. And the media isn't saying anything about that. Miss Farrier, my question, don't these matters warrant your attention as the Fourth Estate? And so that the relative investigation and dissemination of information related to the subject matter be exposed to the people so that we can make the correct decisions as we move forward into the future. I trust that my input has made some sense to you, and I expect that you would respond accordingly. Have a nice day. Will you?
Thank you, sir. You respond to
Good morning, sir, and it is good to hear you. Yes, you're making a lot of sense, and in fact, I took a little note here because you gave me a couple of story ideas for my show. Thank you very much, sir. Those are very important topics: persons with disability and providing the information with the public with information about it, calling the government to account on how they handle it. I just want to say, though, sir, that on the allegiance, changing the oath of allegiance, that was covered extensively, and I attempted to cover it to the best of my ability and to provide the people with all the information they needed to take a position on the matter or not. Because the oath of allegiance and what happened there, this was the public's move. The next move in that conversation was the public. They alone could have stopped it, not the media. The media can only let them know it's happening. On the Renault thing, you may not know that I broke the Renault story last year. I broke the story, wrote about it, did all the investigation and planning, and reported to the public on what was going on. I continue to report on it, sir. And so there are a lot of important issues that we are not investigating as journalists because we are constrained by a number of things. Because we have a young media now, a lot of our experienced people have moved on. That sort of in-depth reporting and those deep topics that you speak of there, those are all very deep topics. We're falling short there, and it's the same thing I was talking about, GT, like within the media houses, a reporter who has to put 6 stories in the evening news has to do a proper investigative piece on the side. But then they have their young children to look after, and and life happens. So as a journalist, you really have to be dedicated and be able to devote some time. I wish that media houses would allow their people to do more investigative pieces and create the space for them to be able to do the investigations and the research that they need, because an investigative piece and a proper story does not get done in a day. You know, we go to things and someone has a news conference and they talk and you come and you type it up and you put that story in the news, and really that's not particularly how we should be operating, and I'm hoping that that can change. It's one of the changes I'd like to see happen. But I take your points, Mr. Rollo. I cannot take offense to any of what you've said, and I agree with a lot of it. And hopefully we can use that to guide us to better serve the public, except for the Reno and Oath of Allegiance thing. I did cover it.
We do have another caller. Caller via WhatsApp, you're live. Good morning and welcome. And I beg of you to be brief for time purposes.
Oh, good, Jay. Good morning. Good morning, Jay. Good morning to your guests. Your guest spoke about she wanted to be a lawyer to defend the people's rights. She did a side job being a journalist, and here is her today being a journalist. But I hope you remember that what you wanted to do, defend people's rights. So when the government tells you that information is need to know, that's not healthy for the nation. When you're taking an interview from the PS in finance, and 2 weeks after you're not getting an interview, what do you think is the problem? Do you think that you don't want to do the interview, or do you think that somebody is restricting you from doing the interview? You need to seek and find, because you need to defend the people of this country. I mean, as I say earlier on, when the government give information, they're more healthy. The people would love them more. So I don't see how they hold them back. Why do they hold back information? I don't understand that, because maybe they don't understand that. But it's very important that they give the people information so they won't speculate. And the journalists need to investigate the information and see if it's correct. So I hope that you remember that. You wanted to defend people's rights. That was your first goal. Keep it up. Have a nice day.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. We do have another caller. Caller, good morning, you're welcome. And we probably have one more after this. Go right ahead, please. I beg of you to be brief, please. For time.
Your esteemed guest, Calistra. Calistra, one of the things that we pride ourselves as a people is that we don't like to read. I mean, so many people, including people with so-called, allegedly learned people would pronounce that we don't like to read. In recent times, we have seen the disappearance of newspapers, at least the physical ones. I know it's online. And when I ask people if they read the papers on a weekly basis, most people ask me, is there a paper still in existence? So I'm asking the question, how is the Media Workers Association, what ideas they have in terms of helping people or encouraging people to make an effort to either subscribe to the online papers, newspapers, in inverted commas, or find a way to be more informed of what is happening there. Now, additionally, in the past, when you have certain situations, certain issues, there used to be at least GBN, used to be and at one stage also MTV. Later stage, and of course you had Beverly Sinclair relate. There used to be more efforts in terms of helping people to know things, although obviously it was biases and some people were left out, squeezed out. I'm one of those people. But now, there's almost anything, and I'm glad. That's one of the reasons I'm calling in terms of, you said that's wrong table. The question is, would it be live stream? Would people who maybe not are able to go there, come down to the trade center, would they have the benefit of listening or even contributing to that conversation? I think there's a lot we need to be done, and also we need to become radically honest. And we need to really face the fact that we are less informed, not just from what government has to give us, and so, but even from general thing. I remember doing a course with Shahira Alexis, and what she was saying, a journalist has to be, a jack of all trades, has to know something about everything. Sometimes you hear some of the people in the journalists or in the media thing, they're extremely, ill-informed, non-informed, and sometimes they convey wrong information. So how are we going to correct that? Thank you.
Thank you, caller. That was the caller that was going to wrap the calling segment this morning. You want to respond to the caller in any way?
We always strive to do better. We are not perfect, and we will continue to strive to do better to serve the public better. Certainly, the saying that Grenadians don't like to read, I've been hearing it for a long time. Not now. I know a politician who a statement was ascribed to her saying that if there's something you don't want people to know, put it in the newspaper. And that's when we had printed newspaper. And that was a really long time ago. So this is not a now problem. This is an old problem that people are not reading as much as they should. And maybe that problem stems from our socialization from way back when in our history in the colonial times and poverty and whatever it does. But obviously not reading, not liking to read, not reading is a very dangerous thing, very, very dangerous thing. People spend a lot of time on their smartphones now, and I would want to use the opportunity to say that while you're scrolling onto somebody's page because they wrote something weird or they posted a picture of their car or something, or posted something, gave their opinion on the political climate or the economic climate or something, as is their right as a citizen, instead of spending time under there maligning them and attacking them and being foolish, maybe scroll to the online platform for the New Today or the Informer or the Voice or one of the international newspapers and read something. That would be a better use of your time so that you can actually really make a difference in society instead of quarreling politics on social media, which doesn't help anybody anyhow. But to what that caller was saying, that our journalists do not sound smart, or we don't, whatever. I don't know. I think that people want journalists to be what they want them to be. There are people who expect you to fight their cause. The Reno thing, for instance, I broke that story. I saw something wrong. There was obviously something wrong with that. There continues to be something wrong with that. Man had a general development order at the end of it all that allows him to proceed without having fulfilled certain requirements and to fulfill them as they go. On March 17th, he's asking for extensions on it, and we talk, the thing is a mess, and I continue to follow it. But some interested parties in this weren't happy with the way I was covering it, because they said that they expected me to be an attack dog against Reno. That's not my role. That's not my role. My role is to investigate and to provide the public with all of the information. And the public might decide, oh, we love what Reno is doing. We don't care about the environment. We're cool with that. We want the roads fixed. We want asphalt. We want whatever. It is the people, the public, to make their decision. And so sometimes I think that we as a people give too much responsibility. We give our responsibility as citizens to the journalist. And the journalist can only report the truth. You must decide. You must decide whether you let your government drag you up and down. You must decide whether you let your priest drag you up and down. You must decide whether or not you let your employer drag you up and down. It's the public's decision to make, not, we can't.
All right. Calistra, it's about time for us to take a wrap this morning. Interesting conversation. We could be here all morning. There's certainly a lot to do.
And we were worried about filling the hour. I was like, what? The MWAG in an hour? Wow.
So, well, thank you once again. I wish all the success in terms of Media Week to come. I hope that you get to fulfill all that the events that you of course have lined up. I hope you get the public to be part of especially the public engagements. Mm-hmm. Hope they participate, and hope that we get the younger media practitioners to join in and be part of this. I know you're telling me that I had to come home, but
yes, you have to come home. But before I hand back your mic to you, let me just say that one of the things that MWAG is doing right now, we have a literacy program.
Yes.
We are going to be started at the Bolio RC School, in fact, Lady Help of Christians, where we presented books to the students, and we had Sherma Wells read excerpts from the book and do an animation, and because it's children, to make it interesting, and talk to them about literacy and the importance of reading, and how reading is just a survival tool. and so on. We have to do it in schools in Karaku. We're now planning our Karaku leg of it, and so we will try to go to schools all around the island, giving them copies of the books for their libraries and having them get that lecture on the importance of reading. So that's one thing we're doing. We've always tried to promote literacy. The National Schools Debate is an MWAG, a product of MWAG,
Right.
This was ours. We created it, and Glen was a sponsor. But time went by, and I think, not enough attention was paid, and so MWAG was not able to continue to carry it. But seeing the value in it, Gren kept it. But this was the Media Workers Association National Schools Debate. We started that. Yes, a lot of people don't know. So.
All right. Calistra, once again, thanks a whole lot. Thanks for being here, and certainly hope we could do this again when time draws closer. Maybe there's some more information you want to share. We could certainly do that again.
So send you the application form for MWAG, right?
Yeah, I'll work at you. I'll work at you.
All right, good. We will be very happy to have you on board at GC. We need all of our brothers and sisters to come home. Thank you so much for having me.
For sure,
and thanks to the listeners and viewers.
All right. Hey, folks, that's what we're going to take a wrap for today's edition of To The Point. Thanks all who contributed. Have a good one, folks. That's what we say goodbye.